Hey, my name is Ben Rich, and I'm here to talk about electric vehicles. I drive a Tesla Model 3 mid-range version, and I also have an electric motorcycle that's a Zero SR. I use the Zero to get into the city, and I use the Tesla for daily driving and for cross-country road trips. So I got an EV way back in 2008. At the time, I was already thinking about climate change, and I am a science teacher, so I really wanted to do something about it. It's important to me that people take action rather than just talk about these things. And so I actually got physically upset whenever I drove my gas-powered car. I just wanted to stop using gasoline, stop sending money to foreign oil companies. EVs are made in America, the electricity is made in America. You're supporting local people rather than people in far-off lands, especially OPEC and the oil barons and other countries that really are not friendly to the US. I got in on the waiting list to get a Tesla when it first came out in 2016. So I was waiting for the $35,000 model because I'm a teacher and so I don't have unlimited funds. When the federal tax credit was running out, they released the mid-range model. And so both the finances and the fact that it could go on road trips were major factors in deciding to get this specific EV. For me, environmental factors were a factor in purchasing an electric vehicle. I'm an early adopter, so I've had one since 2008. Now I talk to a lot of people at electric vehicle events and at my job. More people who are purchasing them now are just getting them because they're better vehicles. One person I spoke to was looking at a Porsche and a Tesla Model S and a couple of other kind of sports car models, and he just said the Tesla model outperformed all of them. It was just a better vehicle. I get in a lot of discussions about the environment and electric cars online. People say, well, it takes more resources to build an electric car. They've studied the life cycle of electric vehicles versus gas-powered vehicles. And in every study, electric vehicles have a smaller impact than gas-powered vehicles consistently. As long as you use your car for a few years, you will have a smaller impact using an electric vehicle, no matter what is powering it. One of the best studies was done by the Union of Concerned Scientists, and that shows the comparison of the life cycle of an electric car versus life cycle of gas-powered cars. The New York Times has done a variety of articles on it. They have one that's really excellent that shows electric cars versus hybrids, and it shows which cars get the best environmental impact for the money. You can see how inexpensively you can drive environmentally friendly way. The financing for my Tesla Model 3 was the same as financing any car. I did it on site at the Tesla dealership, so I have now paid off my car. It now costs me basically nothing every month. I rent a unit where the landlord pays the electricity, so the electricity to power my car is free and it is 100% renewably sourced. When I got my Tesla Model 3, there was a $7,500 federal rebate. In New Jersey, we have a $4,000 rebate for fully electric vehicles. In New Jersey, you also don't pay sales tax, which saves you $2,000 or $3,000. For a Volkswagen ID4, for example, you would get $12,500 off plus no tax. So that's about $15,000 in savings. So you can compare purchasing that vehicle with another vehicle that's $10,000 or $15,000 less. The finances come out to benefit the electric vehicle. You have to replace the tires and the windshield wipers, and that's it. There's no oil that goes into an electric car, so you never have to do any kind of oil change or anything like that. You save the money on that standard maintenance on an internal combustion engine. And also internal combustion engines just tend to break down more. They're more complex, and more complex objects will break down much more than simpler objects. Electric motors are very simple. There's virtually no friction, so there's no reason for them to break down. And also electric motors have been used since the early 1900s, and there are still motors being used today that are 40, 50, 60, 80 years old because electric motors just last basically forever. New battery technology will make you want to buy a new electric car far before it starts breaking down. I charge my electric vehicle at home 95% of the time. Only when I'm on a road trip do I charge it anywhere else. Going the 1 mile to work is no problem, and I don't even need to charge every single night. I could charge using a regular 110 volt outlet on a regular basis, and that would be just fine. However, I have a level 2 charging station at my home, and that's what I use to charge up. I'm able to charge up overnight fully, and I have my full charge in the morning. When I'm on a road trip, I charge at Tesla superchargers, and those charge me up in an average of 12 minutes, 11 seconds. So that's just enough time to go into the convenience store, which typically is there, get some food, go to the bathroom. My car is often ready to go before I have the next destination plugged into my navigation system. There are 3 types of charging. Level 1 charging is just using a regular 110 volt charger. That gives you about 1 kilowatt of electricity. Level 2 chargers are typically about 6 or 7 kilowatts of electricity. They'll charge you up about 5 times faster than a level 1 charger. Level 3 chargers are DC fast chargers. And direct current is what your battery uses in your car or cell phone or any other battery powered device. The direct current power can go into your battery much faster than alternating current, which is what level 1 and level 2 are. So the DC fast chargers can charge you at 250 kilowatts. There are some charging stations that go up to 350 kilowatts, which will charge you up very, very fast, like 1,000 miles of charge per hour. I don't really face any challenges with charging. Superchargers are everywhere, and DC fast chargers for other vehicles are quickly catching up. When I started taking road trips on my electric motorcycle in 2013, it was much harder to find charging stations. But I used to charge at RV parks because they have 50 amp outlets, so they can actually charge you up pretty quickly. And now when I take road trips, I have an adapter that I can plug into a 50 amp connector, and that allows me to charge up in case of emergency. The range of my electric vehicle is 265 miles. Not only does the battery have a bigger range than the other batteries of electric vehicles that were available at the time, but the supercharging network allows me to charge it up faster than other electric vehicles. So currently, if you want to take road trips, Teslas definitely are still the gold standard. Other electric vehicles are catching up though. I just got back from a 20,000 mile road trip in which I drove from my home in Montclair, New Jersey to Glacier National Park, and then to Seattle, Park City, Utah. I went up to Maine, I went up to Canada, I went down to Florida. In 20,000 miles, it was easy to find the superchargers because in the navigation system in my car, it shows me where I need to charge. So for example, my family lives in Florida. I just put in my parents' address and it tells me I'm going to charge in Virginia and then South Carolina and then Georgia, and then I arrive. The one place where I did have a challenge finding charging stations was at Glacier National Park. In national parks, you have wide swaths of land that are uninhabited, so there are fewer charging stations there right now, but they are looking into putting some into those areas. If you can coordinate your schedule in such a way that you can manage that, then it still works. Or if you have a place to plug in overnight at your hotel, that's fine too. Anywhere where there's people, the entire East Coast, the entire West Coast, the charging infrastructure has been very reliable. Safety is always an important consideration when buying a car, and Tesla has a fantastic track record with safety. All of their vehicles are 5-star rated in all the crash tests, and actually the Model X broke the machine that tests for crushing a car. They are incredibly safe. Also, with an electric vehicle, you don't have flammable liquid underneath your seat. When you actually think about a gas-powered car and the fact that there are explosions about 3 feet in front of your kneecaps, that just sounds crazy to me. Electric vehicles don't have explosions, they don't have this flammable liquid. It is possible for the batteries to catch fire, but that is incredibly rare. Every single day there are 506 fires of internal combustion powered cars, and there are almost no fires from electric vehicles. Cost of insurance for all cars is just based on the value of the car primarily. Cost of insurance for an electric vehicle is basically the same for a similarly priced gas-powered car. Cost of ownership for an EV is less than for an internal combustion engine car. You don't have oil changes, you don't have as many parts that will eventually break down. After you purchase an electric car, it is less expensive. You can actually calculate how many miles you have to drive in order to bridge that gap between what a gas-powered car and what the EV costs. Pros are environmentally friendly. You're not supporting foreign oil countries. Financially, after you own it, it is less expensive. You can charge it at your own house. You never have to go to a gas station again. It's lower maintenance, and electric vehicles are just more fun. Electric vehicles have more torque than gas-powered vehicles. From the stoplight, you will go faster than anyone else. I have never had another car accelerate faster than me from a stop. So whether it's a Mustang, a Corvette, a Camaro, a Porsche, in my Tesla Model 3, which my version is the slowest of the Model 3s, I still out-accelerate every car that I'm next to. So that's a lot of fun. Other pros are that electric cars are smoother than gas-powered cars. When you come to a stop and I give a friend a ride, my friends always comment, wow, it's just so quiet and calm because you don't have pistons that are pumping and noise that's being made in the trunk of your car. Drives just more smoothly and better than any internal combustion car I've been in. Basically, like if you forget to charge, then it might take a little while for you to charge up in order to get to work or something like that. But it's only if like you make a mistake. It's not in the general ownership of the vehicle. One of the questions I get all the time is, what if you run out of charge? The answer is, do you regularly run out of gas? There's an indicator in your car telling you how much range you have, and it also tells you how far till the next supercharger. So I always leave a little bit of a buffer to make sure that I can get there even if I get lost a little bit or if I want to take a little detour. Running out of charge is not a problem. It has not happened to me despite the fact that I really push it, and I've arrived at superchargers with 2 miles of range, with 1 mile of range left, but I've never run out before arriving at a charging station. I've become a better driver. And that's because electric vehicles can show you easily when you are accelerating and using electricity and when you are regenerating it. And so it becomes kind of a game, like how far can I go on a charge? So you actually end up improving your driving habits when you drive an electric vehicle. On Teslas, they have autopilot. And on my road trips where I travel 10,000 or 20,000 miles in a road trip, almost all of that travel is via autopilot. Autopilot keeps you between the lines and it keeps you at your speed, but a safe distance behind the car in front of you. You just press the stalk, which turns on your turn signal, and then the car switches lanes for you. Car does the driving and it drives very carefully. And I only have to take over when I take an exit and need to go to a supercharger, or if there's construction. Most of the time the car will be fine. Even with autopilot, the driver is still responsible for the actions of the car. I am always making sure that the car is going okay. When I'm on autopilot, I just listen to audiobooks, radio station and music. Autopilot really makes the driving experience much more relaxing. Also, when I'm in traffic, autopilot is the best because autopilot allows you to not have to focus really intently on the cars that are just kind of like moving forward very slowly. Your car is doing the driving. So that takes the stress off of you and puts it on the 8 cameras and the computer system. So it actually makes driving in traffic significantly more enjoyable. It's kind of wild. And they update it every month with new software updates that come over the air. It automatically goes into my car and I wake up and I look at the dashboard and it says, your software has been updated. I don't have to go to a dealership or anything like that, like other models of vehicles need to do. It will give me a warning if it senses something that it can't handle, which is incredibly rare, almost never happens. But I can disengage it simply by driving the car, by grabbing the steering wheel and turning it. Also, pressing the brake will disengage autopilot just like it disengages cruise control. Autopilot is way better than human drivers. Human drivers are terrible. As I sit in my car that is dead center in the lane 100% of the time, I watch cars, they'll veer over the line, they will veer onto the rumble strip on the side of the road. If you're in a car where the computer is driving, then it's much, much better. It does take a couple of weeks to get used to that because we're used to driving the car and controlling it. But once you get used to allowing the car to drive, it's phenomenal. My overall experience with electric vehicles has been fantastic. I have been able to explore the country, go on road trips in all 48 states and Canada, I've been able to go on hiking trips to places that are far and remote. This summer, for example, I went to Glacier National Park, Rocky Mountain National Park, to the Adirondacks, the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and I'm able to supercharge and get there quickly and easily. Even in these edge cases that used to be challenging, it's no longer challenging. The charging infrastructure is there and it's getting better every day. Governments can increase EV adoption by, first of all, just providing money to reduce the gap between the higher cost of electric vehicles right now. As electric vehicles become more mass-made and battery prices come down, then the price gap will decrease and there won't be any need for subsidies. Helping create charging infrastructure makes people feel more comfortable with buying an EV. It's also important to make sure that low-income people have the ability to purchase electric vehicles because emissions from gas-powered cars contribute to air pollution, which hurts the respiratory systems of people in areas where socioeconomic status is low. Local governments can make ordinances requiring their township purchase EVs, switch police cars to electric vehicles. There are more electric trucks coming out, so switch your trucks for your park system. Get rid of gas-powered leaf blowers and lawn equipment and use electric equipment, and all of that will reduce the asthma in your town and contribute to a quieter area. So I joined the Environmental Commission in my township in order to pass laws like these and ordinances. I definitely recommend you also look to attend town council meetings and join the Environmental Commission and work to make these ordinances a reality, because that will help electric vehicles significantly. We know that we need to address climate change. The IPCC came out with a report in 2018 that said we need to cut our emissions by about 50% by 2030 and then by 100% by 2050. And then in 2021, they released another report saying this is a code red situation. We already have 30 years of carbon emissions baked into the atmosphere. We need to stop using them now. So it is crucial for everyone that we adopt EVs immediately. And so I think that EVs will replace gas-powered cars, much like the car replaced the horse and buggy. That will provide us with cleaner air, less emissions. It will just make life better in a variety of ways. I work at a school, and there's a car line of cars and SUVs just sitting there idling, which is illegal in New Jersey, but they still idle. Those emissions go directly into the lungs of their children and their children's friends. And so having a car line of electric vehicles will reduce that pollution and improve the health of children everywhere. I definitely recommend an EV to everyone. The places where it is still challenging to own one is if you live in an apartment complex or a tall building or something like that, but there are definitely ways around that. If you live in a single family home or an attached home and you have a garage or even just a parking area near your home, you can get a charging station that will reach your car. You can solve that. The charging stations do not cost very much, and any electrician can install them. So you don't have to find a special person to install it, basically a glorified outlet. EVs are fantastic for anyone, even if you take lots of road trips. Some people I know charge only at work. They don't have a place to charge at home, so they'll charge at work or use local superchargers on the rare case when they need to. Also, if you do live in an apartment and you want an electric vehicle, tell the owner of the building and you might be able to work out a situation with them. So the most important thing is for people to take a test drive in an electric car. You cannot explain how much better it is an experience to drive an electric car versus an internal combustion powered car. You have to experience it. I strongly recommend to anyone who is even remotely thinking of an electric car, go take a test drive, feel it for yourself, and that will be the evidence you need to know that electric cars are better.